My brother, yeah. My brother, yeah. My brother, yeah.
Hey. How you doing? Welcome back. I'm Hoopy, your host, one of them brothers from Inglewood podcast, coming to you live and direct. And I have a hot topic that I'd like to discuss. And before I do, I want to say thank you. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, sharing, and ringing the notification button. For without you, we probably would not make an impact on this platform. And so I want to ask you to repeat the process. Tell someone, allow others to know what you have come to know, and put something in the chat box. Let us know how this is affecting you. Give us some feedback. Share your comments so that we can do further research and hopefully answer questions and expand the platform the best way that we can. So before we sort of go into all this rhetoric about what we've heard and what we have seen through social media, I want to talk about Shani. Not Shani O'Neal, but Shani, the preacher's wife. We do know and understand that she has a new book project that she has released and she's launching through many tours and campaigns that she's doing to promote her book. But there's a few questions that has arisen as to why she made the statement she made, what is the focus and purpose behind it, and before I go any further, I just kind of want to play this little clip so that you'll kind of see where we're going from.
Shaq's ex-wife, Shani, says she's not sure she ever loved him.
No!
Shani Henderson questioned her love for him in a memoir. Undefeated, Changing the Rules, and Winning on My Own Terms, she wrote, looking back, I don't know if I ever really loved him. I was really in love with the man. Over the course of their relationship, which began in the late 90s and ultimately ended in 2009, when she filed for separation, the couple struggled with infidelity, which Shaq admitted in his 2011 memoir. Shaq posted a cryptic message on social media the next day. Shaq wrote, I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Wishing you all the best. All love, Shaq. Capture the post. Trust me, I get it.
Hey,
Number one, this statement or this clip comes from Shannon Sharpe, the host of, he was on, Nightcap. He and Ocho Cinco, particularly the other night. And he chimed in on a statement that was made by Shani, but also a follow-up statement that was made by Shaq. We just heard it. I think number one, let's just first of all, let's put it in perspective. I met Shaq. I don't know him like many others may know him through personal relationship. I met him through playing basketball. I met him in 1992. He was already declared for the NBA draft. Magic Johnson was training him at the time, and we were often working out and playing at UCLA. And so we were all a bunch of talent comprised doing these workouts. UCLA is known for their workouts. So it was early in my career. Not that I'm comparing myself to Shaq or Magic or any of the guys that made the NBA. It's just, it was a time when I was still playing, and I was right out of college, and I was also working to try to better my career, especially, my professional career overseas. That's what I was pursuing at the time. So Shaq was a very congenial guy. He was, playful. He was always smiling. He was an extreme talent, and everybody liked him. We all gravitated to him. He had this big personality, and so it was really a pleasure to be around Shaq at that time. He was very young. He was, right out of college, and he hadn't even finished. He had declared early what we call hardship. He went into the professional ranks and forewent his college eligibility. So what I'm saying is from what I've gleaned at that time, and there were other times I was around him later in his career. But like I said, I don't know Shaq personally. We're not on first name basis, but I can tell that he was a very sensitive person, that he took a lot of things to heart, and to hear the clip and know his statement, I commend him because, we watch him all the time on TNT. The dude is funny, he's laughable, but he gets irritated easily, and you can tell he's very sensitive. And so for him to reply the way he did really gave me the confidence to believe that he wasn't going to be harmful to Shawnee, and he saw this as, number one, an opportunity for her to expose her book. And whatever it takes, he's for it, because we already know, mass media, internet, it's all about, I would say, controversy. Controversy sells. That's one of the most marketable tools that's out there. It's not just talent, it's controversy. So I believe that his reply went, viral simply because most people probably felt he was gonna react in a negative way, that he was gonna go fight fire with fire. And when he did not take it personal, and he actually was apologetic for what transpired in their marriage, it threw everybody for a loop. So it also makes makes me want to believe that it was a publicity stunt, not in a derogatory way, even though he probably had time to process what she was doing, what she said. Also, the children had time to process everything. But from the reply from Miles O'Neal, who Shaq eventually adopted during the time of marriage to Shawnee, he was sort of thrown off guard. I wish I could put up the clip of his statement on Instagram, but he assured Shaq that he loved him and that he was a good father, and all of these positive things was stated, pertaining to Shaq. So whatever, took place between Shaq and Shawnee, of course, led to separation and eventually divorce. And I just felt like what Shawnee did, she did for business reasons. I don't think that she was taking a shot at Shaq. I believe that she was also being transparent. Maybe that's her truth. I met Shawnee one time, and it was recent. It was during the pandemic. We were at a funeral. A mutual friend of ours introduced us, and she seemed to be a very docile, polite person. I saw her walk the room. She's very touchable. She was always smiling, and she didn't big time anybody. She wasn't with her, or secluded with her entourage. She was co-mingling, and from my understanding, she was a very, very close friend of the deceased. We were all at a funeral, and she was very close to the deceased, and so it was like being with family, and that was my impression of Shawnee. I don't know her new husband, Pastor Keon. I do know that he is a man of God. He serves and as a clergyman, we're all in the same industry, same community of faith or faith community. So I dare not include him and involve him in his wife's statement, because at the end of the day, she's trying to sell a book. It's her prerogative. I think we have to also understand that in mass media, in celebrity, when you're in the public's eye, they're going to come at you in all angles. The media is going to twist it. Journalists are going to write what they feel people will read and want to hear. And then also, your family is always involved. Initially I thought about the children. I thought about Shaq's kids. I thought about the relatives that are connected to this family. And I was thinking in terms of, to make that statement is a loaded, I would say it leaves a lot of room to be attacked. Because if I'm a child and I hear one of my parents speak negatively about the other parent, I'm a question that entire concept of love. By her saying that she thinks that she don't think that she ever really loved Shaq. I won't say that she didn't love Shaq. Not that my opinion matters, but I don't think that she's saying she didn't love Shaq, because any woman that will lay down with a man, get impregnated, eventually carry the child full term to deliver the baby. From my understanding, biologically, medically, scientifically, even through living testimony, this is the closest point of death for a woman, is to deliver a child, to go through childbirth. So for her to lie on a table under doctor's care, nurses, and all this stuff, and birth out 5 children, 4 for Shaq, that's love. To me, you cannot say that Shawnee didn't love this man. I know a lot of people always refer to being in love versus being out of love. I think if you start to hang your hat on being in love, you're easily able to fall out of love. I like to just consider myself loving. I want to just love. I don't want to say that I'm in love with a person or I'm out of love with a person. I either love you or I don't. People have their different variations of love. There are various ways to express love, but I think love is love. It's just degrees to it. And for her to make the statement was her truth. It doesn't matter whether or not I agree with it or disagree with it. I just think that holistically the children are affected. Because I think when children look at their parents, they don't see all of the nuances that happens in a relationship. They don't see their parents from the lens of, oh, they don't get along, they hate each other, they don't, they look at their parents in a way to where they love their parents, they want their parents to succeed, they want their parents together. When we separate, when we divorce, it affects children. Now, there are special situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in, such as verbal abuse, domestic abuse, addiction, misappropriation of finances, personality conflicts, just an array of things that can really sabotage and destroy a marriage and relationship, period. And so sometimes the kids are affected by that environment because they can feel the energy, they can feel the tension. They know that certain things are going on that are not normal, or it doesn't make them feel comfortable. And so Shawnee Henderson now is in a place where she's thrusted further into the spotlight. She's in a different arena. She's in the kingdom of God. She's in the, I would say, religious community. And she's wearing another hat. She's wearing a different hat. She's never been a first lady, which that's what she's considered now that she's married to the senior pastor of the church. So now she's adjusting from, this transition of being a celebrity, a celebrity's wife, ex-wife. And so there are a lot of expectations, probably demands that she sees in her new walk in life. She's still a mom, so she's still caregiving and nurturing her children, even though I believe 3 of them are adults now. You got college students, student athletes, and then you have, I think Miles is an entrepreneur, but you never stop being a mother. Now she's a new wife. She's been married for a few years. Everything seems to be copacetic between them two. And for her to write a memoir and, put her thoughts to paper, you can't fault her for being transparent. You might be able to question, why would she put herself out there like that? Why would she, cause her children to be subject to something that she and the father experienced? But I think also we're on the outside looking in. She could have sat down with each of her children and told them she was writing a project. She was going to be transparent. This is how she feels. Maybe they've already known what her affections were towards, their dad. Especially with girls really gravitate to their father. So it could have been a situation where she talked to her daughters early and often about love, about relationships, about showing affection, about, being open, whatever that case may be, intimacy, and intimacy is not just, sexual intercourse. Intimacy is a lot of the important things that, makes you want to get to that point of love and expression. So I just think that it's a media frenzy. I think that there should always be something bitter, sweet in a book, in a memoir, in some form of publication or statement that's made, so that we can create, number one, not just dialogue, because it's really none of our business as it relates to where Shawnee is in her life and what's going on with her new husband as opposed to what her past was. That's really not our concern. I think that, many things can be said about her statement. I've heard, different people say, well, hey, you wasn't saying that when, Shaq was showering you with the gifts and the homes and all the materials, the money, and how your career really got started because you were married to a celebrity, and your husband was an elite figure, public figure. So that opened many doors for you, and you wouldn't be where you are if you were not married to this type of person. And then also, for you to say those things, people are saying, we question your motive from the beginning. You were actually married when you met Shaq and start fooling around with Shaq. You were legally married. You were separated or whatever that ordeal was. From our understanding, from the public's view, it was stated that basically Shaq coerced your ex-husband to vacate the relationship. It was even said that Shaq paid this guy off to go through with what was already a done deal. That you and Shaq felt like he was, dragging the process along and didn't want to give you the divorce until Shaq, gave him, a little incentive to move on. And rightfully so, that her relationship was over. It was, just they were parting ways. And, maybe Shaq didn't have anything to do with their separation and eventually, being divorced. But from my understanding, I don't know how valid that is. I got it from a very reliable source saying that, Shaq, knew the guy or eventually met the guy, spoke with the guy regarding how he was not there to disrespect the man's son, and if he and Shawnee were going to take the relationship to the next level, that he would treat, his son with the utmost respect and so on and so on. So from my understanding, Shaq dealt with the ex-husband like a man. And if you've noticed, we have not heard from Miles' father in many, many years. I know I never met him. I did see them together on pictures years ago when their child was very small. And so I don't know, what that really looks like. But I will say that Shawnee wasn't actually feeling, the love when Shaq was committing all the infidelity and taking her through, some of the things that she went through. But, and I'm not justifying this. I'm not condoning it. It came with the territory. You married a young, major superstar athlete who was very wealthy, and he was getting a lot of attention, and he was traveling quite a bit, and you knew that when you started dating him. And it's no different, maybe financially different, but it's no different now with the man that you're married to. Pastor Keon is a man first, yet he is a serious public figure in the kingdom of God. He's very known in that industry. He's spiritual son of T.D. Jakes. We already know the bells and whistles that come along with any relationship and attachment to T.D. Jakes. So people have said, well, he's a regular guy, and, she didn't actually remarry someone who was on Shaq's level. Well, he's not on Shaq's financial level, but within his community, he is a very well-known figure in the church industry. So for you guys to say that he's not a known person, that's very untrue. He's connected to many, many what we call mega pastors, mega churches. He pastors a mega church. He pastors multi-churches under his umbrella. And so, yes, he is a major figure. And he's even been attacked by the media. His name has been thrown out there for his, many different, things that he's done as a minister. He was formerly married. He has a daughter from that marriage. There was a lot of speculation and controversy surrounding his relationship and previous relationships and so on. So let's not make it out to be that we have two darlings who have found each other and they're just riding off into the sunset happily ever after. We all have things in our lives that are personal to us. Some are private. I wanted to talk about Shawnee's ordeal simply because the children are involved. And I have a very, very soft heart for children. I have a deep affection for family. And I honor the institution of marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. Scripture says that marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. And so God really uplifts the marriage covenant. It is dear to him. It is intricate to our bloodline, continuing from generation to generation. And so I just had to say something about Shawnee and Shaq's rebuttal, which I thought it was a fair, rebuttal. And so I'm gonna play a little bit more of a clip so that, you guys can possibly see, some of the things that Ocho Cinco and Shay Shay was talking about.
Before they shared the spotlight.
Because I think a lot of, if we, how could I say it? If we start to just, see this as it is, we can deal with it. Listen to this.
That hurts. I mean, oh man, yeah, just to hear something like that. Obviously, Shawnee is a friend of mine. Shaq is a friend of mine. I would have loved to see those two work it out. But I think of power couples, people doing their own thing in their respective crafts and being successful at it. Obviously, things didn't work out. They parted ways. That's tough though. I think many of athletes at times are in situations, or they're with women at times, and the infidelity and the issues and the problems, it overshadows the glitz and glamour. And I think at one point maybe she did love Shaq, but all the other issues that came with being with a person or player of his caliber, I think it overshadowed that. And at some point, the love went away. What you think? Or
see, that's what I was saying earlier too. I know she loved this man, and not through my personal experience with her. I don't know Shawnee personally, but to have 5 children, to lay on a medical table, to deliver a human being on behalf of someone who impregnated you. And I can hear people saying right now, well, people get raped all the time and they have abortions, and sometimes, they have the baby and give it away because of, they were raped and they don't want to remember, Okay, those are very, very special circumstances, but it still doesn't negate that they have to go through a procedure and the process of boring or birthing or not having a child. It's traumatizing. It's difficult. it's you know, it's beyond the, you know, it's beyond the norm. So you know, listen to this. I just want you to hear this other part of the clip, because I want you to know what Shaq, you know, what Shannon Short said about Shaq.
Reason, so do you believe? And I know she's remarried and she's happy. I think she's married to a pastor now.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Ocho.
Yeah.
How many pastors' wives are writing memoirs that people are reading?
I would think that would be.
They're gonna read this book because she was married to Shaq.
Right.
She became a household name because she was married to Shaq.
Yes, sir.
For the longest time, she kept that O'Neal name.
Right.
And I got no problem with, like I said, I don't know Shawnee. I'm not here to bash Shawnee.
Right.
But my thing is, I don't get why you needed to say that. Why you felt you needed to say that.
I think if you're writing a memoir, the point of the memoir is to be able to share your thoughts, your feelings, some of the things that people didn't know.
Listen, I'm not, and I don't think any of us are in a position to say what she should have or shouldn't have put in her memoir. You gotta sell the book at the expense of someone being hurt or someone's demise. No. But this is just marketing. This is advertising. This is sales. She wants to sell the book. Now, I've written a book. Would I like to get paid for my writing? Of course. Would I like it to reach every platform, stream that's available to expose it? Yes. Whether people buy it or not, it still came from my heart. It was written for a purpose to encourage someone. I'm not a celebrity. Yes, I'm a pastor, a senior pastor. I've been pastoring for 19 years. I've been preaching for over 40 years. And I just think that people have different motives. Some are moral, some are immoral. I don't want to bash Shawnee and make us believe that she did something immoral. I believe it's twofold. She's doing a project. She is a business person. She's an entrepreneur. She's a creator. She's talented. She's gifted. She's pretty. She's a good mother. I'm not just gonna jump on Shawnee with 2 feet. I think my defense was, don't hurt the kids. Leave the kids out of it. And I was just curious as to how the children felt, knowing their relationship with Shaq and how much they love their father. So chime in, please. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. Let's, have some dialogue. Put your comments in the chat so that we can, reach resolve. But, I'm just gonna call this episode Shawnee. No, Lady Shawnee. We're talking about Lady Shawnee, the first lady of the church, the pastor's wife, and let's leave it right there, because hey, I think she's doing a fantastic job. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her on social media. I've seen her on television. I commend her. She came from humble beginnings. She claims Inglewood. I was told that she lived somewhere in the avenues. I don't know. I'm from Inglewood. I've yet to see the documentation. Came from a good source. I trust the source that told me this, but I'm just unaware. But a lot of great things have come out of Inglewood, and I just want to say thank you. Like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so that you'll be abreast as to when we're airing the next episode. See you soon. This conversation, this episode is coming to a stop, and so we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.